This is a quick print tutorial for printing at the College of Design. First, if you want to see some of the options at the College of Design for printing, what you can do is if you go to design.ncsu.edu/operations, notice there's an IT section here. If you go under printing resources, this will take you here. This will go over some of the stuff that we will be mentioning in this video today. You notice that, where to add WolfPrint credit and the types of printers that we have at the College of Design. Specifically, we have laser printers and plotters. So this is where you can find more information about that. But just in case, first we're going to go over adding print quota. To add print quota, what you do is you go to WolfPrint. You can just Google WolfPrint. It's the first link in Google. Once you go here, you can scroll down and there's a WebPrint login here. And then you would log in. This will take you here. On the left-hand side on this page, this is where you can add funds. You notice this says students add funds. Also, if you're faculty staff, this is also where you can add funds. This is also the same web page where you would go to request refunds. So if the printer didn't print your job or you canceled the job midway because you notice there's an issue, you could request a refund here. To request a refund, you would go to recent print jobs. It'll take you here, and then you would, on the right hand side, it will say refund, and then you would have to put in a reason for the refund. Now, refunds are manually done, so it may be 24 hours before you get a refund. Now, one quick thing is if for whatever reason you're trying to print and you cannot find a printer on the print dialog list, you can manually add it on the desktop of all the computers on campus, the workstations at the College of Design. There's a WolfPrint printers shortcut here. If you go there, you'll notice that here, this is a list of all of the printers. To add a printer, you would just right click here and you would go to connect and it will add the printer. It's very rare that a printer does not show up, but if it doesn't, this is kind of a backup to add those printers if it's missing. While we're here, you notice that there are, you can kind of see all the printers that we have at the College of Design. There are printers in all of our buildings: Brooks, Camp Hefner, Liazar, Lampe. All the printers are here. You have access to all those printers, but they may be in spaces that you're unfamiliar with. While we're also here, we'll go over the print cues. The -1 cues are the monochrome black and white cues. The color cues, notice this one says color 1, are color cues, and this is for the plot ones are for plotters. The monochrome and the color cues are different costs. So if you're only printing black and white, if you select the -1 cue, it will be cheaper. And as I said before, you can find more information on charges and how much it costs on our website here. Now, we're going to go over the print dialog. First, there's a reason why I opened up Photoshop. Specifically for plotting, there have been issues with printing PDFs from Adobe Acrobat. Currently, we are recommending, if you're plotting, to make your file into a JPEG or a PNG file, open it up in Photoshop and print from there. Also, you'll have more options if you're printing from Photoshop or any of the Creative Cloud applications. So if you have a JPEG, rather than printing from Chrome or something, printing from Photoshop will give you a few options. So first, we're going to go into the print dialog here. From the print dialog, you notice that here's all the lists of the printers. Hopefully none are missing. For this specific demo, we're going to do a color print. So we're going to choose 203 color 1, which is right here. Always go into print settings so you can double check all of the settings. From the print dialog here, you can change all the settings that you need to change. For instance, if you have a custom paper size where you would use the bypass tray, you would change the sizes here. If you're doing a manual feed, so let's say you have your own 11 by 7, or 11 by 17 could work too, or 8.5 by 11, your own paper. And our laser printers can do 8.5 by 11 and 11 by 17 by default, but if you can have custom paper, always choose bypass tray and put the paper on the side tray. In this video, we're only going to briefly talk about manual feeds for the laser printers and a sheet feed for the plotters. There'll be a separate video on that with more detail. Here where you can choose the two-side option or duplexing, you notice those options are here. Also, if you're using your own paper and you're using the bypass tray, what you want to do is you want to make sure you choose the paper that's closest to the paper that you have. So for instance, if you have cardstock, choose cardstock, or if you have thinner paper, you can choose one of these thinner options, or a paper type that's closest to the paper that you're using. So these are the options here for the laser printers. Now we're going to switch over to the plotters. So again, we're going to go down to this list. I'm going to choose 203 plot 1. Here's a printer. We're going to go under print settings again. So from here you want to go left to right. So you can choose your paper type here, but if you have 24 by 36, 36 by 48, 18 by 24, which are the arch sizes, always choose a preset size. You notice you don't see a lot of options here. So if you want, Arch D's here because I chose it before, but let's say you wanted to do Arch C, you can go in here to more and choose Arch C, which is 18 by 24. So even if you're not familiar with the architectural sizes, if you know it's 18 by 24, choose a preset size. Now, if you do have a custom size, what you want to do is you want to change those options here. So you notice that you have the options to change the custom sizes here. Now, like I said, for plotting, you always want to, in this print dialog, you want to go left to right. So we're going to go to the paper source here. Our plotters by default in roll 1 is a 36-inch roll, roll 2 is a 44-inch roll, and like I said before, sheet feed is also an option, but then that's going to be a separate video that I'm going to go in more detail, but this is where you would select sheet feed. So for this, we're going to choose roll 1. Now, our plotters have just regular coated paper. So coated paper won't show up on this list by default, so you have to go to more and select coated paper here. And finally, like I said, left to right, because this final option will change depending on the settings you choose on this left-hand side. You want to choose quality. If you leave it on a lower setting and you notice some banding, some consistent banding, it is probably not an issue with the plotter itself, it's an issue with the settings. So if you set it to quality, it's going to set it to the best quality. You should not see alternating banded colors. We're going to OK here. Now to finish this demo, we're going to go to print, and then you'll be able to see that there's a print dialog, print charge dialog that comes up here. You want to log in. Now at this screen here, take note of the cost. Now if the cost seems too small, so let's say it says a penny, then return back to the page setup because something's not right in the page setup. It will always cost the appropriate amount, so if it just seems too little, then something's not right. Don't waste your time, hit cancel and go back. As a little bonus while we're at this screen, if you are giving access to a shared account from your department or from an instructor, this is where you would switch to a shared account, and you would select the shared account here. And then if I hit print, it will send it to the printer, and then you just wait for it to print. And that's it. Thank you.